The reason success keeps feeling far away is not because we have no dream, no talent, or no discipline. Most of the time, it is because we still gave ourselves a quiet way back. And here is the uncomfortable truth. How serious can we really become if part of us is still planning an escape? Most people believe having more options is smart. A backup plan feels responsible. It feels safe and makes sense to us because nobody wants to risk everything and end up with nothing. We want protection, comfort, and we want to know that if this path gets hard, there is still another door we can walk through. Maybe we do not notice it in the moment, but our brain notices that door. And once it knows there is an escape, it stops giving the path in front of us everything we have. Because when the mind knows there is a way out, it does not always give everything it has. So we are going to break this down in a simple way, so we can understand what really happens when we keep too many doors open, and why real success often begins when we finally commit to one path. I have struggled with this my whole life. I wanted things badly, but I always kept a way out close enough to feel safe. And because of that, I stopped so many things halfway, right when momentum was finally starting to build. The thing most people miss is options are not always freedom, but a reason we stay the same for years. Having a way out can seem responsible from the outside, but inside the mind, it can quietly say, even if we fail, we have a plan B. And that matters, because success often does not ask for more choices. It asks for a cleaner decision and dedication. Too many choices keeps us average because they divide our energy before the real work even begins. Instead of building one path with full force, the mind starts jumping between possibilities. It becomes this constant mental switching between a new business, a different skill, another content idea, a better strategy, or anything that feels easier than staying consistent. At first, it feels productive because thinking about options gives us the feeling of movement. But real progress is not created by switching directions every time resistance appears. It is created by working long enough on one thing for effort to compound. When we keep every door open, our focus leaks through all of them. The goal is not to trap ourselves in the wrong path, but to stop using every hard moment as a reason to escape. Because if quitting always stays available, how much of our real effort are we still holding back? And this is where the backup plan becomes dangerous. Because Plan B does not always protect Plan A, it weakens it. The moment we tell ourselves, if this does not work, I can always go back, part of our hunger disappears. Not all of it, but enough to skip the hard work, enough to delay the uncomfortable call, or to stop trying when the first results are slow. The backup plan becomes a soft pillow for our failure. And because the fall does not feel painful enough, we do not fight with everything we have. That is why some people only change when life removes the option to stay the same. Not because pain is magical, but because urgency makes the decision. Did we ever ask why so many successful people had to hit rock bottom first? And that is why burning the boats is so powerful. It does not mean being reckless, destroying our life, ignoring responsibilities, or acting like fear is not there. It means we stop giving our fear places to hide. We remove the emotional exits that keep us half committed. That can look like deleting the distractions that keep pulling us away, or cutting off the routine that makes quitting too comfortable. The real move is about removing the escape routes, so going forward becomes the only path. And when there is no backup plan anymore, something uncomfortable starts to happen inside us. Success starts to change when our identity has nowhere else to go. That is the point where discipline stops being something we negotiate with every day. We are no longer asking, do I feel like doing this? Because when there is no other option left, I do not feel like it, stops being a good enough reason. Skipping the work starts to feel like breaking the promise we made to ourselves. And that is when the small choices start carrying more weight. The work we kept delaying starts to prove who we are becoming. The promise we actually keep starts to rebuild our trust. And the discomfort we stop running from slowly becomes the training that changes us. Slowly, we stop seeing success as something far away and start seeing it as the result of not betraying the decision again. So, let me wrap it up. Too many choices can make us feel safe, but they can also keep us average. A backup plan can look responsible, but if it gives the mind permission to quit too early, it is not protecting the dream. It is quietly weakening it. Burning the boats is not about destroying everything behind us. It is about becoming honest enough to remove the exits that keep us small. Because at some point, success begins when we stop looking for an easier way out and finally decide that forward is the only direction we are willing to go.